I'm going to have to stay muted here for a second. Okay, so I thought I'd try to get back into doing weather reports. Heart's not in it exactly, but we'll give it a try. There's a bunch of stuff going on today. The first thing is, last night on Standing for Truth's channel, Faithful, Honest, and True, Jason Ezard got into a bit of a tit with Standing for Truth. I don't know. It really wasn't justified. He was doing a little bit of spamming, and he just went off, and the last thing he said was to SFT was, fuck you. So this morning I get an email with SFT's real name from Jason Ezard. He only sent it to me, but anyway, he decided to dox SFT, somebody who wants to maintain his privacy. And I don't know how many of you out there got that same email, but if you did, please do not dox SFT. He's a nice guy. He doesn't deserve it. Give him a break. So just let it go, you know. Anyway, so we have that. There's a bunch of stuff. Well, on the SFT issue, he did a thing. Like, he uploaded a video where Raw Matt was interviewed by Matt Powell, and I pushed back on him for that. I don't think any association with Matt Powell is good for SFT or for anybody else, and I encourage him not to deal with that guy any more than he would deal with Jason Ezard. Anyway, SFT wanted me to tell you that they do not condone Jason Ezard. He has been blocked. Faithful, Honest, and True, and they basically have pushed him out of their community. They probably should have done it a lot earlier. He has been threatening people for a long time. I think he threatened me and Immutable, or Leo, one of us, with sending the cartel after us or something. It was like some veiled death threat. It was pretty amazing. But the guy's clearly unhinged. Don't follow his lead. Anyway, on SFT, I think Matt Powell is as toxic, and I think you ought to reconsider uploading videos that have him in there. Hey, Standing, you're here. Anyway, let's see what else is going on. There's that Raw Matt thing, which was actually, I think I would love to go over that video. Raw Matt delivered about probably 5 really bizarre straw man attacks on evolution, including 1,000 monkeys typing. I think it was at let's see, the Plymouth University. They did an experiment where they put a keyboard with a computer in a cage of monkeys, and they tried to see what they would do. And of course, it turned into literally a shit show. And they didn't type anything, but it was pretty amazing. But Raw Matt basically portrayed that as a real research project where they were really trying to get the monkeys to type out Shakespeare. Anyway, it's hilarious. We have that one. So that's a Raw Matt interview. I suppose I could share my screen here and show some of these. But let me see, how do I want to do that? I think I want to do an application window. Google Chrome. Let me see. There we go. I think I can do this without too much trouble. Anyway, so this is the Raw Matt interview. It's Raw Matt interview debunking evolution, and it is just. And he calls himself Dr. Raw Matt. During the whole thing, they're calling him Dr. Raw Matt. I'd like to know exactly what his doctorate is in. Anyway, Standing for Truth is in chat. Do you want to come on for a minute? Just to discuss the bullshit that happened to you? Anyway, I think he just wanted to point out that fuck people who dox people. It just isn't necessary. We don't need to take it to the personal level on these little wars that we have with each other. So anyway, so we had the raw mat thing, and then there was, oh yes, I missed John Maddox's live launch Mental Combat Mondays cash prize debunking genetic code. Now John is offering $50, and I'm like, seriously, John, 500 might be better because that way you might attract an atheist, but of course, who the hell could possibly win that prize with you guys as the judge? So anyway, no atheist showed up. Cell showed up to defend it, and that was kind of interesting. A lot of interesting stuff in that video. There's another one. Let me see here. Oh, last night, this is the one where Jason Ezard kind of went crazy. Genetic entropy and radiometric dating. Very interesting. David Neff, right around the 40-minute mark, told John Maddox that he was too tired and he needed to go to sleep. That it was like 1 a.m. and he was just way too tired to have a conversation. And Maddox drilled him for like another hour because Maddox seems to love it when you're tired. And you two standing, I mean, you've done it to me where I've told you, it's too damn late. I mean, why can't you guys have these discussions at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when our brains are still working? We'll kick your ass. But anyway, yeah, genetic entropy was the topic. And I think Stanning went through it early on in this video and did a really, really bad job as usual, and insists on this accumulation of bad mutations. And I would like to know, what does an accumulation of bad mutations look like when we're talking about proteins and enzymatic activity? Anyway, yeah. You won't appreciate these next words, Standing. You may have appreciated the first part, but anyway, so there's genetic entropy, and I'm not firing on all cylinders, guys. I'm sorry. I wish somebody else would come in here and help me out. Another thing that's going on is on, let's see, what is the name? Evidence and Reasons, which is Cell Cordova's new channel, which everybody should subscribe to. I think we did a video. No, we did a video on his other channel yesterday on quantum mechanics, but he's doing one on essential cell biology for non-biologists today, and I might stop in for that. So I will be posting a link to Cell's new channel, and he's going to be doing a bunch of science content, mostly, of course, with the usual religious slant, I'm sure, but that is worth checking out. Then we had, let's see, on Modern Day Debate, we had an odd team. Excuse me. I got the COVID. Hi, Demeter.
Hi.
So a Modern Day Debate, they had a odd team. They had like a shock jock, a conspiracy theorist guy named Alex Stein, who doesn't believe in anything that normal people believe in and believes in everything that normal people don't believe in. And then they had a flat earther, I think, Rose 777, debate Dapper Dino and Mark Drysdale. And then I think they did a after show on Dapper Dino's channel that you should check out. And let's see, where are we here with genetic? Is this? Yeah, this is the same on genetic entropy. What else we got going? Let's see. Oh, the God Talk he did as part 2 of the Noah's Ark thing. It's just a little weird video where they go in and they take a video of a bunch of boards that were clearly no more than 40 years old and called it Noah's Ark. It's going along with that. And what else we have? Here's the Evidence and Reason site. So that's about it for what's been happening. I need to do some catching up. And I don't have much more than that. Like I say, I'm not firing on all cylinders. Hi, Demeter. How's it going? Nice shirt.
Oh, you're muted. You gotta unmute. There you go.
Okay.
Now you're good.
Thank
I
you.
love the blue. It looks good.
Yeah. Because all of my other shirts are just in the. So
Yeah.
So it's in a clinic room.
Yeah, I like the blue one. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, you saw my recent discussions with Otangelo on emails.
Yeah, they're lengthy. I've been trying to catch up with them, but they're pretty amazing.
So I mean, the same old story. Initially, you think that someone in front of you will at least try to figure it out, and at least will try to understand the position, the biology behind, the chemistry behind, and it's useless. It's completely useless. So you explain very clearly how the things are going from very simple to more complicated and more complicated, and that's why you have more complicated stuff after all, because of the evolution. And as a response, what you see as a response simply like, okay, but that cannot happen. And you explain again that this is proven to be happened by paper. And he said, oh, no, that's not actually prove it at all.
Can't happen. Yeah.
So, and again, you explain the logic behind simple to complicated. And he said, okay, but how that will happen if you need more complicated stuff at the same time?
Yeah.
Ah, boy. So what I can say, and again, you have copy paste thousands of additional chatting questions that every single one you need to spend at least 1 hour to explain all of the steps, whatever it's in the literature. And he's jumping. And frankly, he even didn't read anything that I'm sending. So, for example, I sent him the paper, which is for the origin of genetic code. And what happened? He stumbled in the first sentence.
Yeah, he said he quit reading it after let's see. Okay, what did he say? I did start reading your paper and stopped right here. Our hypothesis postulates that. Where was that in the abstract?
Yeah, and I told him the difference between hypothesis, scientific hypothesis, and fantasy.
Yeah.
So, and as an example of scientific hypothesis, I described, you have, of course, it's a build-up based on a preliminary observations on some sort of already building up facts. And you build up, based on these facts, the hypothesis. And the hypothesis is based on a physical-chemical laws, in already discovered interactions, and all of that. And then you build hypothesis, which simply needs proven or disproven by experiment. And this is hypothesis. That's why we're calling scientific hypothesis, because you have background first and then hypothesize. On contrary, fantasy, it's not that. The fantasy, it's not based on any law, it's not based on any observation, it's not based on anything. Like intelligent designer, which pop up the fully formed living creature. So you imagine, I tried once to stay just to laughing just to enjoy myself, my imagination, how it will be. So imagine, Mike, you're in the moment of creation.
Yep.
And now you're sitting like that and just observe what's happened. So back in time, only 6,000 years, okay, 8,000 years ago. So, and you observe, what you observe? Hop, elephant poop up like out of nothing, just
That's my
Elephant is
favorite
big.
one. Yep.
And suddenly a rabbits kick out. Suddenly grass start to grow out of nothing in front of your eyes. Yeah, that's it. So
Well, my question about the elephant, when the elephant pops up,
yeah.
is what happens to the air that it displaces? Does it fly out at the speed of light? I mean, what happens to the air? I don't get that. I always wondered. I want to be there and watch the elephant pop up,
Oh yeah.
but it might kill me because
Yeah.
there'd be this like sudden rush of air, that would be like at the speed of light, and it would probably melt everything around it. So the rabbit would melt the elephant.
Maybe, yeah. Who knows? I mean,
I don't know.
but this is intelligent. So because it's super intelligent, of course,
Right.
I mean, everything will be set up very well. So, and also after this particular few emails that we exchanged with Otangelo, I mean, sorry, Otangelo, it's simply, it doesn't make any sense to respond anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you don't listen. Second of all, you repeating the same arguments which I already described before. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I would say it's like I'm emphasizing it's like. So I'm not calling him, but it's like a troll. It's
Yeah.
like a internet troll.
Yeah.
Just predator over some sort of information is trying to overwhelm with of some kind of some sort of questions. By the way, his questions, the way how he is asking the questions, mean exactly that he don't understand anything that I told him.
Yeah.
So you cannot ask this question if you listen what I just said.
Yeah.
So
He's like the bad uncle that comes to Christmas dinner, and he's got some conspiracy theory, and every time he comes to dinner, he tells you the whole story over again, and it takes him about 40 minutes before everybody tells him to shut the hell up. We've heard it all before, and then he'll pause and he'll start the story again from the beginning, and then you throw his ass out of dinner. You get rid of him.
yeah, you cannot have a normal conversation after that. So
There's it kind of amazes me, but there's like blockages in thinking, and then of course they believe that we have this block, that we believe in evolution, and everything we do is to prove evolution. And the odd thing is when they say, what is your evidence for evolution? Like John Maddox last night asked, what do you think Lenski's experiment did? Did it prove evolution, or was it evidence for evolution or against evolution? And I don't think Lenski is thinking in those terms. He's not trying to prove evolution. He's trying to figure out what happens when you put a bunch of bacteria through 60,000 generations. You know what I mean? It's like when you're thinking about the science, we're not trying to prove evolution. We're trying to find out what's happening at this one little point, right?
exactly.
So it's a totally different focus than they have.
I have to try to read about this particular experiment because I don't remember exactly how he did. If you're talking, so for example, in back in time in a Russian school, there was a guy which is called Lysenko. So Lysenko, he was a fellow which actually followed the Lamarck ideas for evolution. So the Lamarck's idea for evolution was that because of the kind of urgent of animals to reach something, to get something, to survive something, and because of the effort of this particular to succeed and to reach some food sources or something, that go back to changing the morphology of the organisms. So, in Lamarck, of course, he gave a very clear example. The example was the giraffe. So, because giraffe was trying so much to reach the high branches, therefore the neck of giraffe became longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
So that was the Lamarck idea of evolution. And guess what? In Russian school during that time, so I'm talking for the period of time between 20s and 40s, so between First and the Second World War. And one scientist, because during that time Lysenko was giving us speeches, how they will improve the milking of the cows, how everything, the production will be improved based on the Lysenko's ideas. And a very shy young scientist asked from the auditorium, asked a simple question. Mr. Lysenko, I just wonder why there are still a virgin woman around?
What?
Why there are still a virgin woman born? Because the idea is, every time when it's reached something, it's make the changes of the organism. Like giraffe is trying to reach
That's
the
a really
high
good one, actually.
Yeah. So in that case, it's just why there is even virgin girls it's born.
Right.
If I understand,
I think somebody's echoing. Leo, are you echoing?
No.
Yeah.
No.
How can
So,
I echo with a headset?
I don't think it's
That
me.
doesn't work.
I don't know,
It's not
somebody's-
me.
Oh, say something, Manny.
I don't hear it echo.
Hi. Wait, I'll mute myself for a second.
No, you're not echoing, but your microphone is like really echoey. Are you in a tin can?
No, not really. I'll try and turn it down a bit. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Okay. From what I understand, Stalin basically came up with this concept that Lysenkoism is more communist than Darwinism, and the USSR got stuck with that harebrained
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I mean, he was pointed. Of course, I have to memorize. I have to go and refresh my memory for that. But Lysenko was pointed like the first agronome in the young Soviet Union. And by the way, he was entirely Lysenko. His name was Lysenko, but he was a follower of Lamarck's ideas
Mhm.
for evolution. So, yeah.
Can I wanted to ask a quick question to the chat. Is Standing for Truth still present? Just let me know in the side chat.
He might be. Did you get an email from Jason Ezard?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Why was I supposed to?
No, he was doxing the Standing, so
Oh.
which we're
why-
not going to do, which we do
Why
not
was he doing that? Why was he doing that? Why was he doing that?
because he got mad at Standing last night.
Oh, more creationist infighting. I see. No, what I was going to say is that probably about 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, U.S. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be, hopefully, if everything works properly, doing my first live stream where I will be refuting Dr. Jason Lyle on his idiotic attempt at arguing that the entire universe is only 6,000 years old.
Okay.
Literally. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Have fun.
Yeah. Yep. I think
You guys were discussing Otangelo before.
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but your last, I think it was a Snada, where Dimitri was also on. and he and I got into this whole argument in the comments. And
About what?
whatever you say to him, it just has these automated responses,
Yeah.
like these
Like most
templates that it simply whips out. It's not a conversation, and he keeps making these really weird, fallacious arguments.
You have to remember, the thing with creationists is that they're not looking for a discussion. They're looking for anything they can get to trip you up in the discussion to make it look like they won. That's all they care about, is this facade, putting on this facade like they somehow won a discussion when they're not even making any relevant points. That's why in like the 4 or 5 discussions that Demeter had with Otangelo was still pushing the same arguments that Demeter refuted every single time they spoke.
Yeah, we got an email string. If I edit out the addresses, I could probably show it, but it's pretty amazing. But it was just the same thing over again. I love where Otangelo said he quit reading the paper. Pretty much.
You do have to put what Standing's name is in the private chat. Obviously, I'm not going to dox it, but I am curious to know what it is.
Oh no, I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
No. No,
It's
Dave.
Dave. It's got to be Dave. It's
Let it
got
go.
to be Dave.
Let
Yeah,
it go.
It's Dave Smith.
No, not Dave Smith, but it's got to
No,
be Dave.
it's Dave
He
Smith.
definitely sounds like a Dave.
It's really hard to look up on Google. I Googled Dave Smith and I came up with a lot of hits. So
Yeah, I bet.
anyway, moving on. What was I going to say about Otangelo? I don't know. Not sure. Oh, I came up with this idea this morning. You know, a million monkeys typing on a typewriter, might create Shakespeare eventually, given an infinite amount of time. The creationists are like a million monkeys looking up little gotchas in papers. Like they'll find this little thing about like radiocarbon dating or something, or that radiocarbon in diamonds, basically. And that'll be the little gotcha. And then they have another gotcha. But there are a million monkeys out there. There are like a million of these creationists, and they're all coming up with these gotchas. And
It's
we have
exactly the same with flat earthers. They also have these 5-6 gotchas that they
That aren't really
keep
gotcha.
whipping out. Yeah.
Yeah, except the creationists are worse because I get emails from all their institutes, and I also get letters, and all the letters for Thanksgiving were, here's a wonderful Thanksgiving message, send us money. $5,
Oh,
$10, $100, $1,000. And so they're well funded. So these million monkeys are each creating 10 gotchas. So we have 10 million gotchas we got to go through, and it takes us 40 hours of gotcha. So that's 400 million hours of video that we need to do to refute these son of a bitches. What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, they constantly, so it's like a specific, I don't know, they might have some sort of specific algorithm or something to look in a real scientific paper, a sentence which fits their view somehow. I mean, every scientific paper first start with questions. I mean, you cannot write scientific. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So you cannot make a scientific paper without asking questions. So of course, not everything is known, and you have real legitimate questions. So this is difficult to explain. This is difficult to explain, and after that, in the paper, you actually try to explain it. So, but they catch just the first part. There is a question which this is difficult to explain, and put it and say, okay, this is so difficult to explain.
Right.
By
There
the
was
way,
this professional debunker, I think Blackmore is her name, and she
Susan?
quit eventually, saying that's it. They keep coming up with new stuff, and I'll be debunking them till forever, and it'll never be over.
It must be
So
Susan.
she quit.
I found a
Uh,
video of you on Facebook, Speed. You should check your Facebook for what I tagged you in. That's definitely you. You're
What?
gonna laugh when you see it.
Oh no. Anyway, is that Susan Blackmore? Many?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She does a lot of work on neuroscience and consciousness too, I think. So
Exactly. So she quit the whole debunking stuff because she said it'll never end. It's like
Yeah.
a drop in the ocean. No matter how many shit I debunk, new shit keeps cropping up,
yeah, you get
and
tired.
she just gave up.
That's why I'm not focusing my channel on specifically creationism. There will be certain aspects of creationism, like
Yeah.
what Dr. Jason Liar, because I call him Dr. Jason Liar because he's got a PhD in astrophysics. He knows the shit he's saying isn't true, and he's still saying it anyway. But there are certain aspects of it that I will address, but the larger arguments probably not. They've been addressed.
I think also, I think Mortimer81 maybe took him on once, and also called him Dr. Liar. I think it was Mortimer81
probably was.
who did some videos about his stuff.
See, but the reason why he lies is because, number one, the audience that he's pandering to don't care about fact checking. The fact that he's a PhD astrophysicist and he's arguing for not just the Earth, but the entire universe being 6,000 years old is all they need. All they need is to hear that from somebody with some sort of relevant credential, and then that means to them that, okay, it must be true. Secondly, these people don't have the knowledge already in these subjects to question it, to have any level of skepticism, to say, you know what, could this be wrong, and if so, how? So he knows the audience that he's pandering to, and he knows that none of them are ever going to fact check him or already be in possession of the knowledge to know that he's wrong. That's why he only debates academics. And by the way, the academics that he debates are usually other Christians, like Hugh Ross. He would never debate somebody like Sean Carroll. He would never debate somebody like Lawrence Krauss or Leonard Susskind or Roger Penrose. He would never debate somebody like that. Not once, not ever.
Yeah, well, he knows you lose. He knows that reality doesn't match his bullshit.
Yeah.
Also,
Hey.
when he does, from what I understand, his field, although it's astrophysics, it's something to do with optics or something. It like has zero to do with the stuff he talks about as a creationist.
Well, his
His
basically
PhD is in astrophysics from the University of Colorado at Boulder.
his he wrote 5 papers on something to do with the sun.
Yeah.
Something about solar radiation. But anyway, his speed of light thing is, he says, okay, there's no way to measure one-way speed of light. You know,
He uses a method called anisotropic synchrony convention, and what they mean by convention is it's something like feet versus meters versus inches versus centimeters. You can use all of those to measure a table, but no matter which one you use, that doesn't make the table, the length of the table, change. So we could, if we wanted to, we could use the ASC, the anisotropic synchrony convention, which says that light travels from its source to anything else infinitely, but then comes back at half the speed of light, and then with some complex and overly convoluted and needlessly unnecessary mathematics, you can make that equal average out to c, to the speed of light. And we could theoretically describe our universe with that, no problem. We would look at the same universe that we see now. It's just that, like for the reason that we use the metric system over the imperial system, using the Poincaré-Einstein synchrony convention, or the ESC, is just easier. It's not as complicated. It's not as convoluted. It's just an Occam's razor thing. However, his model isn't just using ASC, because ASC, using just ASC, the anisotropic synchrony convention, you can't make the universe 6,000 years old. He incorporates that particular convention into his young Earth model as a way of arguing that, well, these galaxies that are billions of light years away, they're not billions of years old because the light got here infinitely. Because it got here instantly because it was moving infinitely fast. So he's using that as sort of a rescue device to make the argument that the universe is only 6,000 years old, but that the universe being 6,000 years old is not an inherent part of the ASC. He's just using the ASC to make that argument.
Yeah, but the problem is, the light came from the star and got here. That's one way. That's only one way. And he's saying that was infinitely fast. So basically he's saying, well, we have the Bible and we believe the Bible, and the light could have gotten here instantly because we can't measure it. So I mean, just because we can't measure, I mean, all of physics would fall apart without that speed of light constant.
Yeah.
I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Their fine tuning argument would go to hell for one. I don't know.
And yeah,
I just looked at it briefly.
yeah,
You're going to get into it a little more seriously on your channel.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I'm not going to reveal here, but things that when I heard him, I'm just like, this is how I know this guy is he's a weaselly fucking liar who's lying through his lying fucking teeth.
Yeah.
Like one of the things he said is like when they were talking about the cosmic microwave background radiation, the CMB, he said, well, and one of the things about it is, it doesn't have any spectral lines in it. And I'm just like, what? What the fuck? Are you fucking stupid? It's a black body radiation. Black body radiation doesn't have spectral light. You're a PhD astrophysicist. You know this shit. That's how you know he's lying.
Yeah. Yep. Kind of amazing. I don't know. Anyway, they always stimulate me.
I died
Well,
laughing when I first heard that. I was like, wow.
I just want to say hi, Lina. And I see that you are looking the chat. I just wonder why you didn't call me for in the Gmail. But anyway, so if you come in the chat, will be nice.
Let's see if she's still here. I talked to Lena yesterday on Sal Cordova's channel. We were talking a little bit about quantum physics and some other more personal stuff. But I really appreciate Lena. I don't know why Lena believes what she believes. Huh?
I don't know what does she believe, because I believe that she's religious. I don't know if she's Christian, but I can't work out if she's a young Earth creationist or if she's any type of creationist or what.
I don't think she will say. So she has not confirmed either way. I've asked in a couple of different ways, and I don't think she wants to say. Maybe agnostic, agnostic Christian, I'd say. So agnostic about the age of the Earth, maybe. Seems reasonable. I've had reasonable conversations with her. So anyway.
So anything else during the week?
You mean coming up or in the past?
I mean, anyway.
I think we're going to do a
I'm gonna bail on you. Have fun. Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Oh, you're okay. Bye. I didn't know he was leaving.
Yeah.
Well then.
Probably going to work. Let's see. We're going to do Saturday Night at the Atheist tonight, I hope.
What time?
9
Okay.
or 10, something like that. That should work, right? And let's see what else. I'm going to try to do weather reports every day because there's a lot going on. I've got a few videos. I think I'm going to try to do I call them sing-alongs, but I'm going to try to do it with just one other person, so we don't have so many foreskins. Because we never actually get anywhere. I think my son is coming down. I better mute my cam.
Mute your camera.
Never
By
know
the
what
way,
he's wearing.
when you do your morning reports and everything like that, you should start being on camera. That's going to run up your subscriber base.
I know. It's just that.
That's one thing that even large, like big time YouTubers have always said. If you want to go fast, the more that you're actually on camera and people can see you and put a face to the voice,
Right.
the more likely it is that you're gonna rack up subscribers.
Yeah, actually, it's better yet if you have an animated character that's basically like Pelagia.
Yeah.
They'll seem to get even more subscribers, and I'd love to do that because then I don't have to comb my hair.
I don't have the time to do graphic stuff like that, and I don't have the funds to hire somebody to do it, and I don't really want that on my channel.
Yeah.
My channel will never be this where there's a shit pile of animations and graphics and all that stuff because number one, I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to learn how to do it, and I don't want to have to pay somebody else to do it for me.
I'm going to try to do that. I've been kind of working with OBS. PowerPoint presentations help a little bit, but anyway, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to get a stable download of OBS. So,
Dude, just download OBS Studio, not Streamlabs, not any other variant. OBS Studio.
I've got both, but
well, I would uninstall Streamlabs and then just use OBS Studio.
yeah.
Streamlabs isn't going to be good to use on a Mac for probably a good 8 months to a year if they just released it in October.
Well, I got to get with Critical Cripple, I think it is, he knows how to do a script so that you can bring people in from from StreamYard or some other source like Zoom.
Yeah, he pretty much
OBS.
hacked StreamYard.
Yeah. So I need to do that. That'll help.
I really shouldn't say it like that on camera, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's what he did.
Well, he I think he did a Google script or something that makes it really easy to pop up windows. Because the problem I have with OBS is that you can't bring in guests. I don't know how to do that, so I have to find.
Yeah,
something.
you have to set it up through a Zoom, a StreamYard, or a Google Meet or something like that.
Yeah. So, Demeter, are you going to do a Q&A at some point this weekend, maybe?
It entirely depends on your schedule and your time frame, because I'm open for any Q&A. That will be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
However, unfortunately, I cannot do it anytime. I can do it usually Saturday. Yeah, usually the weekend, and either the first part or the second part of the day. Sometimes it's changeable. So if I know in advance, for example, at least 2 days in advance, I can tell you exactly when it's good. For example, for me, today is Saturday, right? So tomorrow, Sunday, during the same time will be fine with me. And also probably next week afternoon, for example.
Okay.
I do have a quick question for you, Speed. When you set up the thumbnail and everything for to go live on YouTube, and you've got it so it appears on YouTube with the thumbnail and it says that you're going to go live at this time. When you actually go live through OBS or through StreamYard, does it automatically go to specifically that thing that you have set up?
I don't know.
Or does it start does it automatically start a new video and stream? Because that's what my concern is I'm going to set up the thumbnail and everything and the preview for the live stream, and then when I click go live on OBS, it's just going to create a new one and go to that, which I don't want. Which I think what it does is it connects you to your YouTube channel and then allows you to select. I would assume probably allows you to select how you want to go live if you've already got something set up. But
I think it would start a new stream, unfortunately. So you got to set up your entire intro and everything in OBS and run it there, and then start the stream in OBS. But I don't know. I haven't tried going live with OBS yet. So,
all right, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, maybe tomorrow, I'd like Immutable to host so that I don't, because I can't predict. I'm still a little bit under the weather, and I can never predict where my head is going to be. And sometimes I'm just not coherent. I mean, I'm dealing with a case of really bad physical depression, and it's up and down, and it's really weird. And I'm having trouble predicting myself.
Yeah,
I don't like to be spontaneous. I like to, schedule things. But right now, I kind of have to be spontaneous as to when I'm going to be.
Yeah. I mean, let me say, if you, for example, if you're able to, with Immutable, for example, to schedule for tomorrow during the same time, I'll be around.
Okay, around noon, somewhere?
Around, yeah.
Okay.
Could be a little bit earlier, could be a little bit late, but let's say around that time.
Okay.
Or if it didn't work, if it's not convenient, so we can set it up for next Saturday or Sunday after 3 o'clock.
Yep.
So
okay. Yeah, I'll try to figure it out and give you as much advance warning as I can.
Yeah.
Because I really appreciate having advance warning, but I would prefer that Immutable at least be there. So, or Walker, one or the other. I'll reach out to Walker too. Maybe he can do it.
Also, I like to start. So I'm preparing right now for the students in our university. I will try to prepare a new course, for evolutionary biology, which will be very interesting course. And Leo, for example, might help me, or you guys might help me with some of the slides. But the idea of this new course will be, the name of the course will be Early Steps in Evolution. That will be the title of the course. And the idea is like that, starting. So, for example, if you look the classical evolutionary biology course or type of courses for the students, you see all of this all the way, like from the beginning, go to the entire evolution, laws, forces, blah blah, everything that it's in the classical evolutionary course. This particular course that I'm trying to prepare will not overlap or will not be redundant with any classical evolutionary course, but will be just kind of upgrade, mostly for the period of time until Luca is formed.
Okay.
So, and that will be focused on a more deep thought about origin of life, different hypotheses, different ideas, a little bit chemistry, a little bit geophysics, a little bit astronomy, those kinds of things.
Is it going to be online?
Not initially. So
Okay.
I just want to prepare it first, and after that I will propose this course to our university. And eventually, if it's accepted, they might put me into just go physically next year, of course. I'm talking probably will be the fall semester next year.
We got a
So-
question here from Nestle. Can you see his question, Dimitri?
Include constructive neutral evolution. What does it mean, neutral evolution?
Chimera. Chimera? Probably not. It's more abiogenesis, right? That you're dealing with.
So the course will be, of course, origin of life. That will be the main,
Yeah.
the major core, the major. So, but it definitely will not be just origin of life, because the course will include the first steps into formation of Luca. So the formation of Luca until the end of the Luca. And there are lots of things which must be said during that time, because you have protein evolution. There are lots of new domains that could be described and could be I can teach. Also, lots of very interesting concepts, how the things are coming in the Luca. This is a very kind of, how we used to say, unknown India. It's completely terra incognita. It's a difficult, because you don't have example to study, you don't have specimen to study. But in another way, there are lots of things which are logical to go over.
Constructive neutral evolution.
Well, we'll have to have a conversation about that, because I'm not sure what you mean. So,
Yeah.
and how that would fit into Luca. I don't know.
So the origin of life, or also I'm calling Terra Darwinia. We can name this organism, the very first organism, which is Terra Darwinia. Terra Darwinia. So Terra Darwinia is the first real spontaneously generated organism. So you know the philosophy from the ancient time that every organism, everything is spontaneously generated. That was belief in the natural philosopher in the Enlightenment era, in the 17th century, in the 16th century. How every day something is appeared out of, for example, particular media. It's called spontaneous generation. So, but during the time, of course, Pasteur, Louis Pasteur, he disproved the spontaneous generation every day. And so the early evolutionists, like Lamarck, for example, they also believed in spontaneous generation. And by the way, Darwin also believed in a spontaneous generation, but there is a clear difference, and that's very interesting to know. For example, if you have spontaneous generation every day plus evolution, this is the Lamarck view. According to this logic, the more complicated organism should be the older one that started, because there was a have a time to go over, and became more complicated.
Yeah.
So according to this this idea, Lamarck's idea, so you have every day spontaneous generation plus evolution. So something that's pop up, for example, bacteria from rotten meat, for example, doesn't matter, from something, it will start to evolve, and will be a high level organism after millions of years, for example. But if you think this logic, the more complicated is the organism, will be older one. But if you look the fossil records, it's totally reverse. So as go back in time and see the fossil records, you see more simple organisms.
Yeah.
So now the Darwin, he believed in spontaneous generation, but he believed in spontaneous generation just once, happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
So what is my point? This organism, which has happened just once at the beginning, it's called Terra Darwinia.
I think it probably more like a huge bush, that came in to like a focal point, and that was where eukaryotes developed, and then expanded from there. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of
eukaryotes.
potential contributors.
Did you just say eukaryotes?
Did I say eukaryotes?
Eukaryotes, like oats, like Quaker oats.
Like Quaker oats.
Eukaryotes.
I don't know how to fucking pronounce things, Leo. I'm not as bad as praise, but I bad.
Or smoky hypothesis.
So anyway, just to finish, Leo might help me a few things for this course, this new course, just to put the particular slides. And I'm going to prepare this course because I have enough time until the fall of 2021. So approximately at that time, I will try to be ready to teach this course.
Okay.
If it's possible.
I got my Python started about 4 weeks ago, and I started working out some models, and then everything went to hell. So
yeah, I mean, understandable. Yeah,
but I'll get back to that because I've got there's two kind of models that I want to do. One is the one where I was telling you that we actually have a matrix of nucleotides. And then it depends on where they are as to what hooks up. The other one is just a random generator, which is going to be a lot simpler. So the first thing I want to do is get the random generator, run it into that protein folding site or program I have, and get us some pictures. And the problem is we're going to have 1 million pictures, but looking at pictures would be at least something.
I mean, you can put some restrictions, some boundaries. For
1,000.
example, you don't need to generate anything that it's below, for example, 5 nucleotides. Let's say this way.
5 to 10, something like that, or 5 to 12.
And also, you can, for the heck of to reduce them, to minimize the number of combination, you can, for example, shift. You can put more GC, like 70%, and 30% you can put, for example, AU. Just for the heck of. In that case, you reduce the number of combinations.
That'll be parameterized.
Yeah,
so
parameterized. Yeah.
I've been looking at Mendel's Accountant a little bit. Have you heard about this program, Mendel's Accountant? It was done by a bunch of creationists.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, it was done by a bunch of creationists, so I didn't give it much.
It's in Python and Fortran, the latest version. They have a version in Go, which is a really fast Java. And then they had a version in C, I think. but the guy that was doing the Go version and the C version died of cancer. So I think they have a new one now. The thing is, I do not trust these people. So I want to read their
How
code.
can you?
Right?
I mean, you know,
I mean, do you trust them?
no, they're liars. Why would I trust a liar?
Well, when I looked at the C version of Mendel's Accountant, I have it somewhere on GitHub. I was concerned by some of the models that they chose because I would have chosen a different model. But they have like populations, and you can pick how many beneficial mutations there are, how many neutral, and how many deleterious mutations. But the whole thing seemed kind of contrived. And the problem is that anything you do is going to have bias. So, but I don't know. I need to look further into it because Standing for Truth is talking about it a lot lately. So I don't know. But as with anything, looking into one of his 1 minute blurbs takes me like 40 to 80 hours. So, so he had another question. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, Mendel's Accountant is apparently just it's a simulation for modeling genetic change over time. Sanford, Baumgartner, Brewer, Gibson, and Remine, all of which are creationists, I'm pretty sure.
Explanation for okay. Let's see. Oh, here we go. CNA is basically an evolutionary ratchet. When a complex process gains increased complexity, which is neutral at first, but then another change happens that makes this extra. Yeah, that's kind of neutral evolution, or the neutral theory of evolution, I think.
You can run the program. What happens when I do that?
Well,
I'm not downloading anything.
From evolutionary point of view, especially if you have much longer genome, there are lots of mutations which happen and doesn't reflect the phenotype at all.
Right.
So, but it doesn't mean it's not inherited. So those mutations are inherited, and see what happens. The organism might enter in another environment, and once it's entered in another environment, now these mutations might happen to be more relevant to the new environment. So, and they might pop up as a beneficial mutations. So, not every. It's not too obvious sometimes how the evolution works. For example, people think that only the survivors are those which is important. Actually, not. There is another thinking. Not that survived is important, but who gave offsprings. That's what is important.
Fitness.
Not the survivals by itself. And that's why, for example, the phenomenon of pecan, for example, a wonderful, gorgeous bird, doesn't have any advantage in front of the tiger, right? So it will be spotted very easily.
Yeah.
So, but here we go. You have advantage because the pecan is actually more likely to reproduce itself.
Right.
And that's fitness. So on, let's see, Nestle got another question. Let's see. I have seen a lot of, abiogenesis of nitrogen fixation. And then, but it's in 3 parts.
No, the comment or his question is in 3 parts.
Yeah.
Is what he meant.
Yeah, that's what and reduced nitrogen is assimilated into amino acids, glutamine, which passes on the nitrogen. Here's the question part. Did the incorporation of nitrogen during early biochemistry happen this way or some other way? So do you have an opinion on that, Peter?
Opinion, it shouldn't be too complicated. Whatever it's about the nitrogen involvement, it's abiogenesis. So prebiotic chemistry. It's all about, it's about prebiotic chemistry in terms of fixation and synthesis of the bases. so nitrogen bases, and of course also some of the amino acids. So I don't know exactly what he referred. Maybe he referred for the so-called
Would be the
so
fixation into glutamate and glutamine. And I'm not sure. How do we get nucleic acids? So your stuff starts kind of after that, right, Demeter?
yes,
Okay.
it should start after that because the first part is already proven to be possible.
I keep telling the creationists we have to start somewhere. So we have to pick a spot.
Yeah, we have to pick up spot. But if you think about John Sutherland, Dimitar Sokolov, and bunch of others already showed how prebiotically you can have nucleotides.
Okay.
I don't want even to mention about the nucleic acid. It's so well proven the prebiotic synthesis of amino acids. Started from Miller experiment, and this Miller experiment is just the very first experiment, but in fact there is around hundreds of those experiments after that.
Yeah.
And they show very clearly the probable prebiotical synthesis of all of the amino acids. So yeah. So okay, guys. I mean, again, I'm open for whatever you might mention. So either tomorrow during that time, or next week, Saturday or Sunday after, let me say after 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So that's
so
my.
like tomorrow after 3?
Not today. Tomorrow it's approximately the same time as today.
Okay. Okay.
So-
and next week?
And next week will be after 3.
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay. We'll try to hook something up, figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're probably done for the day. We can go backstage. Oh,
Okay.
hang on a second. We have one more thing here from Nestle.
Nitrogen is first fixed from N2 to ammonia, which is in turn assimilated into organic compounds, first into glutamate. Oh my God, where's my phone? Oh, no. I don't know where my phone is.
You
Hang
don't
on a
know where it
second.
is even though it's ringing. Wow. That's funny. That's really fucking funny. That's why I always keep my phone right by me. Jesus, how the fuck was your phone that loud from that far away?
So
That was my Mac. It answers on my Mac.
Oh,
And guess who it was? It was Immutable.
yeah.
Jesus.
So Nestling, your question about the fixation of nitrogen, I don't see much question here. I mean, what exactly you're trying to say? So you have nitrogen, you have fixation of the nitrogen through the, for example, cyanides or other ammonia and all of that. It is shown that you have prebiotic synthesis of nucleic bases, nucleic bases. I don't see much question here. I mean, it's all shown experimentally. So
I was inviting Immutable. I don't know if he'll pop in or not. We're almost done. Yeah, not sure. But anyway, that's prior to, I think, your work. And that would be...
yeah. So let me just emphasize, the prebiotic synthesis is shown. What is also shown from the approaches which come from top to the bottom, it's already shown that you have a set of some genes or some most likely genes that was common for all of the domains of life, which shows that you must have transcription, must have translation, and you must have replication and some metabolism. So, but between these two gaps, so from the bottom you have synthesis of very short RNA, and also you know that you have amino acids around. And the other side, which is already formed biology, which is formed somewhere in the middle of Luca, for example, we can guess somewhere. So between the already formed biology and prebiotic synthesis, there was a lots of speculations how actually the blocks of life will be turned into the biology, into the information system. And this is where our idea, my idea with the hypothesis, it comes.
Yep.
Because to fill up the specific gap, which is it is described in many hypotheses, lots of hypotheses, but all of speculations. And here we are looking for most explanationary, powerful hypothesis. So
I have a question for Demeter, if I may. How would you answer the question, what is the function of DNA?
simply, it's the storage of information.
Okay.
That's
Thing
it.
is,
The
the,
most simple answer, which is known from 60s.
Yeah.
I've been looking into the DNA as a code, and I decided about 4 days ago that the protein coding DNA is a code, but none of the other DNA is code. The other DNA
define what you mean by code.
is
You mean it tells? You see, the reason I think so many people say DNA is a code is because DNA tells things what to do. I just don't see it being a code. I see it being a molecule that carries out complex functions.
No, it's a code in that it transfers from one domain to another. So it transfers from a 3 nucleotide codon to a amino acid. So you got 2 different domains. So
That is
that's
just
why
a
it's a
complex
code
chemical
for
reaction.
protein coding. And I mean, we can call it a code, but then if
Yeah.
you look at the dictionary definition of code, it talks about humans making ciphers to fool each other. And that's what they believe. They believe because we call it a code, because it's analogic to a code, that it has to have something creating it, right?
Yeah, I was
So,
told by one of the world's foremost computer scientists that he from a computer science and a coding perspective, he wouldn't call it a code. He would say it does something similar to coding, but
Right.
itself wouldn't be
Okay,
a
okay.
code in any meaning.
Let's explain where the confusion comes. Primarily, the DNA is simply a sheet of paper you are writing letters.
Yep.
This is a storage of information.
Yeah.
However, in a biological system, in order to read properly this particular information, because you have also additional, so let me say you have a book, a huge book, but from this book, you don't need every single chapter of this book. You need the specific chapters to pull out. In the same way, in the DNA, not all the genes are expressed in the same time, simply because you have a process of differentiation. Many tissues are expressing a specific genes just to be a tissue, a specific tissue. That's why, in addition to this baseline of where everything is written, the genes are there, but all the genes are there, you have to silence some of the genes, and also you have to activate the other genes. That's why you have an epigenetic system.
Yeah.
And that's why the epigenetic system is confused as a code. It is a code. This epigenetic system, it's a code, but it's a code in a totally different way.
Yeah.
It is a code, the epigenetic system, but not in a way that something is written and is a code by itself. It is a code in order to read properly the genes. So the people shouldn't confuse the epigenetic with simply writing down the information, to having information. So in order to silence some genes, for example, this is just one of the maybe 50 or 60 examples how to manipulate the expression of genes. One of the genes is just methylation of the CpG islands. So if you methylate the CpG island, this the CpG island stands in front of the gene. When it's heavily methylated, usually it's silent, this gene. So
Yeah.
you have a specific methylases which methylate this particular gene, and it is silenced. And of course, there are many ways to do that, in different ways, lots of regulations and so on. So this is the only confusion where it comes to call it a code. The DNA by itself, it's not a code. It's just storage of information.
Yeah, the thing about a code is a real code, like an ASCII code, which John Maddox loves to use. It's bijective. Basically, you can map to one way, and then you can map the other way with no uncertainty. But DNA doesn't work that way. You can only map one way. You can't be certain if you have a protein what the nucleotides it came from. So it is called I think it's surjective. So it's a different kind of function.
Yeah, don't use those words with Maddox. He won't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but anyway, so there's that problem. And then the other problem is that when you get outside of protein coding, it's nothing like a code at all. The promoter sites, some of them are in the middle of introns, and there are miRNAs and introns. And by the time you look at all the different things that like promoters are read as a consensus sequence, not as a absolute sequence. When you have a code, you always translate from one thing to another. There's no, I translated only if it kind of matches a little bit, that sort of thing. Or you could develop a code that way. But anyway, the whole code thing, they want you to say it's a code, and then they say, intelligent design.
The funny thing is, and Immutable was there when
Say
Ota
something,
spoke to Rage's stream. I pretty much, what I said to him is that even if we were to grant that DNA is itself literally a code, but it's not, but if we were to grant that it was, to state that, well, thereby it could only be produced by an intelligence is a textbook commission of the black swan fallacy, whereby you argue that, well, we've only ever seen an intelligence do this, therefore only an intelligence can ever do it. That's not the case. That's just like arguing, well, all the swans that I've seen have only been black, therefore all swans are black. You can't, just because you haven't seen a white swan doesn't mean they don't exist. Just because you haven't seen a non-intelligence produce this doesn't mean it can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even the
requires intelligence is just a black swan fallacy.
First of all, yes, I agree that epigenetics could be considered as a code. In terms of, for example, if you have a nucleosomes, some nucleosomes are acylated, it's acylated, or it's also methylated, or different types of post-translational modifications, but there is a specific, it is an epigenetic code in terms of that the specific modifications are read for specific things, for specific execution. But this is not something that you cannot explain evolutionary. It's very well explainable evolutionary. I don't see where the problem is. So yes, there is an epigenetic code. I agree with that. But this is, first of all, it's epigenetic code. It's not genetic code. And second of all, it's very well explainable.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
They get hung up on the what is the word that I'm looking for? This is the word I'm going to use. I don't think it's really the correct word. So if somebody's got a better word, let me know. A sort of an anthropomorphization of the genetic code of DNA, of what all these functions are. You know, they do it in a way that makes it appear as if there's no way this could have just naturally come about through billions of years of processes. It had to have been designed specifically with these functions in mind, the structure in mind by some sort of intelligence. So that's the point that they try to hammer home, and that's why they call cells factories and call DNA a code. It's because all they're doing is anthropomorphizing it to the point that it makes you think that it couldn't have arisen naturally.
Yeah, Maddox says it's the only rational conclusion is God. So yeah, and for his body of knowledge, that is the only rational conclusion, because he doesn't understand biology and he doesn't understand chemistry.
So Mike,
a bunch of big words.
It's not just because he doesn't. If he wants to understand biology, he will. The problem is the feeling of self. some people feel very good about the idea that, someone is watching them and take care of them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
daddy.
that's a natural feeling, and I understand that. So you're refusing to understand anything else.
Yeah.
That is the bottom line.
He's on a kick now of throwing out the term code mapping, which I believe is literally just a map of your coding so that you don't get lost in all of the various different aspects and parts of it for very, very large codes that programmers use. And I've noticed that, like, he'll learn a different term and then he'll go on a kick where he just asks any of his opponents, do you know what this term means? And then whether they define it or not, and whether the definition they give is proper or not, he'll define it his particular way so that he can run his argument.
The Rage is having a stream tonight.
Yes,
Or
it's a funeral for Smokey Saint because he's done responding to him and associating with him. So
Oh, excellent. Dixky Stank.
icky, icky, you're so sticky. Every time you come around, I get so sicky.
What time is your stream?
I think it
The
starts at
Rage?
9.
It's what?
Well, 9 for him. I think it would be 8 o'clock for us is when it starts.
Oh hell! So
9 Eastern, 8 Central.
we're gonna collide with Saturday Night at the Atheist.
Well, if he lets you come in first,
Yeah.
then I mean you could go in and then get started.
Yeah, I hate to double stream them though.
Well, no, I'm saying that you could go into his.
Not like anybody's gonna watch
10, 15
us.
Minutes, give your 10, 15 minutes, and then because he said it starts at 9. I'm assuming he means 9 Eastern because he lives Eastern time. So that's an hour before Snata would start for us.
Okay, before we wrap up here, Immutable, say something.
He's away from keyboard.
He's
At least
what?
he was. Did you not read the private chat?
No, I don't. Why would I read that? Oh, private chat. What the
Yeah.
hell? Keyboard, away from keyboard. Oh, he's away from keyboard.
Yes.
What a loser.
Anyway, I wanted to set up something, but okay, I think we can end this for now.
Yes, we
I
can.
have to go.
Okay.
I have serious leaf blowing to do. It's our last warm day in Minnesota. It's the end. So,
Define warm.
50 degrees.
That's not warm.
Yeah, it's warm enough.
It's not.
Okay, guys, we're gonna end. Is that okay?
Peace out.
Okay, but stick around for a minute. We're ending. Goodbye, guys.
Minute or two.